Hello and good day to everyone. Thank you for joining the 22nd episode of Startup Talks. In this special episode, we are joined by William Bao Bean. William is a general partner at SOSV, the Accelerator VC. According to PitchBook, it is the third most active venture capital investor in the world with close to $1 billion under management. At SOSV, he is the managing director of China Accelerator, the first accelerator to launch in Asia and the only accelerator in Asia to have a unicorn come through its program in 2015 called BitMEX. He is also founder and managing director of SOSV MOX, the mobile-only accelerator providing startups with free user acquisition to the vast number of monthly active smartphone users in the ecosystem. William joined SOSV from Singtel Innovate Ventures, where he was a founding managing director supporting China investments. Prior to that, he was a partner at SoftBank Holdings, a venture capital firm backed by SoftBank and Cisco, leading investments in China and Southeast Asia. William started his career in equity research, most recently with Deutsche Bank, where he was a top ranked analyst for Asia Internet and China Tech, Media and Telecom, and worked on the IPOs for Alibaba, Kingsoft, Elong, OnMobile, Rediff and Naukri. So William, thank you very much for being here on Startup Talks. How are you doing?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity.
That's great. SOSV is a pretty popular name in Pakistan. What are your thoughts on the Pakistan's ecosystem?
Yeah, no, I think we wanted to get involved in Pakistan starting in 2017, but for us it was a step-by-step process, and actually we kicked off with a partnership with the Khyber province, where we brought 30 Pakistan and trained engineers,
Mm-hmm.
master's degree finishers, for a 6-month live work here in Shanghai.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helped us to understand the market. Now, we got a little bit slowed down because our local partner didn't get their government funding. They got the first part, but not the second part, right? So we had ended up not launching a pre-accelerator program in Pakistan, which was our original plan. To enter the market. So I was like, hey, what the hell? So I started just investing directly at the end of 2019. And what we really see is a big change. Living in Pakistan, you might not notice, but there's a big change in terms of usually 3 things. Data is more accessible. When I say data, I'm talking about mobile data, the ability to get on the internet. The second is smartphones. There's more and more people with smartphones. People are, MOX stands for mobile only, so mobile first, mobile only. People are getting on the internet on their mobile phones in increasing numbers. And then the third thing is the lack of drag. There's less drag in the market. Mobile payment might not be that popular, but there's a cash on delivery, and it's a lot easier to engage with digital services than it once was. So based on this, you're seeing a real inflection point in the market, and we're investing heavily in solutions that are helping businesses, mom and pop shops, and consumers digitize. And so it's changing people's lives, hopefully for the much better, really giving people opportunity to do things that they've never done before, such as online education, health, but even basic things like purchasing, and being able to get the best price if you don't live in the biggest cities, right? And so I started investing in China. I started out here, it was 25 years ago, but really focused from 2003, 2004. I worked on the Alibaba IPO, the first one. Kingsoft, who's head of engineering, Lei Jun, went on to found Xiaomi and Mi Phone. And we're seeing a lot of the things that we saw in China start to happen in Pakistan. We think it's a huge opportunity. So that's why we're coming pretty aggressively into the market, and just happy to start finally investing.
That's a great, a very encouraging comment that you're seeing the same things that you saw happening in China. back in the day, and you're seeing the same things happen here in Pakistan. You mentioned earlier about starting the accelerator program back in 2017, and that didn't work out, and you guys decided to start investing directly. Things have changed now. A lot of regulatory matters have been resolved. Any plans of coming on with the accelerator program now?
So, so we used to be, or we started as a VC fund, and then we invest, and then we deliver value through our accelerator programs. The thing is, over the last couple of years, we are no longer an accelerator in that our program never ends, our support never ends. By definition, an accelerator has like a start and a finish, right? So unfortunately, we can't really call ourselves accelerators anymore. Now we do a pre-accelerator program for very early stage startups, but our approach, we're global. I'm investing all over the world. We're bringing the best of the best, helping them grow up in their home market and then go cross-border. So we're already helping some Pakistan companies actually expand, not just in Pakistan, but expand across border. And we're helping international companies go to Pakistan. So I think the opportunity, there's a lot of accelerators that are really good on the ground. So we're probably not going to set up like a pre-accelerator program, but what we're doing instead is just partnering with the existing accelerators there and mentoring and helping out to the extent possible. And so instead, what we're doing is we're investing and then providing our program that never ends to the companies on the ground.
I believe Blink is also one of them. They were part of MOX as well. Blink from Pakistan.
Yeah, that was our first investment in Pakistan, was Eat Mubarak Blink. We helped them make the transition from Eat Mubarak to Blink. They did a great job on it. And now we helped them expand to the Middle East, even have customers in Asia. But the real demand from Pakistan has just taken off. So mom and pop, you've got big internet companies coming in, and you have Alibaba in the market, you have Google, Facebook, to some extent Apple, and these big internet companies really put a huge amount of pressure on the telcos, on shopping centers with e-commerce. They put pressure on banks. They put pressure on restaurants. So one of the biggest challenges is food delivery has become like a monopoly. I think with one player controlling basically the entire market, and this has been really negative for restaurants because not only they have to pay the delivery fee, they're forced to give up discounts. But the delivery platforms are taking 20, 25, 27% of the restaurant's money. So Blink has found good success in enabling those restaurants to go digital without giving up all their revenue.
All right. Now, William, coming to SOSV itself, a lot of people, because I sent a shout out that you'll be on the show, and this is being recorded. It'll go online later in the day. Some questions that people have put to me, what are the ethos behind SOSV being a global VC, and what does SOSV look for before making any investment decisions?
Sure. So, I mean, we're a VC that's founded by operators, right? I mean, I spent a lot of time in investment banking, and then I moved over to VC, but I did 2 startups. And the first one failed horribly. The second one, we got a buyout offer, which we didn't take. We probably should have taken the buyout offer, but we didn't. But at least we got a buyout offer. And we don't have any MBAs among the general partnership. I think there's this understanding that VCs invest in innovation. The challenge is that there hasn't been very much innovation in VC, right? So there's capital, and then there's help. But we've gotten significantly more systematic, and our help goes very, very, very deep. Because in the end, we don't write big checks, and we take a decent chunk of equity. So why would somebody take, my check over somebody else's? The money's all the same color.
Yeah.
green or red, or well, it's basically similar, right? And so what we've done is innovated against the model. And so we provide something that pretty much no one in the world can offer, which is on the consumer side, we offer free customer acquisition to the companies that we work with, free advertising. And so instead of spending a lot of money on TV ads, or spending like $1 on Google and Facebook to get a user, and you're lucky if you make 20 cents or 30 cents or 50 cents back. We partner with large corporates who are under attack from big internet. And we partner with these corporates like telcos and shopping malls and media companies and newspapers. They have users, they have trust, they have their existing business model, but they don't necessarily have an internet business model. And what we do is we partner with them, and they give us free advertising for our companies, and then our companies give revenue share back. So instead of spending $1 on Google, Facebook ads, you spend 0, the startups, and then you make the 50 cents, and then you share 17 cents back to the corporate partner who gave the user in the first place. So it's lifetime value. It's not just a one revenue share, but 30% of net revenue lifetime. And this is a real game changer because it allows the local conglomerates and the local leaders to not get crushed by global big internet, the big people coming in from outside the country. And it also gives entrepreneurs a shot, because right now, it doesn't matter how good your product is, how good your service is, if you don't raise a ton of money to buy advertising, then nobody will ever see your service. But for what we're trying to do is change the game so that these entrepreneurs who have an amazing service that users love, they can get it out there. It'll see the light of day. So for Pakistan, the first thing that we're doing is we're digitizing a lot of these mom and pops. The second stage is we're investing in areas like e-commerce and financial services, which is where people are spending money. And then we're going to help these companies go out of Pakistan. We're also bringing some of our really sticky apps into Pakistan to engage the users. And so how do we look at the companies? I mean, obviously, the founding team needs to be a team that can execute, and we only invest in companies that have co-founders. But the second thing is that we need to be able to help them, right? We need to be able to help them drive their business. Because nobody's going to give us, the 6, 7%, 8% of the company that we ask for our small 180K check, unless we can actually provide value. So on the other side, there's a revenue. So a lot of our Pakistan companies, they're already getting users, they're growing pretty well. And then they're actually cross-promoting each other, again, for revenue share. So on the one side, we take the customer acquisition cost down to 0. On the other side, hopefully we can double or even triple their lifetime value. And that's unique.
It absolutely is. Now, since you were among the first VCs, international VCs, that is, to invest in Pakistan, what kind of footprint do you have right now in terms of value and in terms of the number of investments?
Sure. So we just completed our 7th investment, and we're working on our 8th. Hopefully it'll close soon. In terms of footprint, unfortunately, we're not on the ground. We are global, and we invest all across the world. But we, in terms of our teams, are basically located in Taipei and in Shanghai. The reason why we're in Taipei is because it's got a lot of engineering talent that's really, really solid, and also on a dollar per dollar rate, it's among the most efficient programmers in the world, right? And in Shanghai, it's kind of where we started. It's a tech and media center of Asia, and so we are opening up outposts and hope to have an outpost in Pakistan someday soon. We have one in Delhi, we have one in Kuala Lumpur, and we're probably going to open something up in Beijing and also something in Europe. But we're not really focused on, boots on the ground. That's not our utility. The local Pakistan investors that we partner with, they know the market much better than us. So we're not trying to compete against our local partners. What we're trying to do is bring something different, something additive, and then partner with the best local investors, so that we're together, because we're not super greedy. We don't take a lot of the company. We don't want to take a lot of the company. So there's plenty of room for other investors to co-invest with us and to invest after us, or we can, we're always taking referrals from other investors. We, as a team of investors, then we help the startups that we work with.
Okay. SOSV is pretty big in the region, even in India. So what kind of spaces or segments is it mostly involved in, or just to do with e-commerce and mom and pop shops?
Yeah, so I think the way to think about it is we're a decentralized ecosystem of startups that do not have to work together, but can work together, right? And we're running a playbook. And so there's two, and especially on the consumer side for Pakistan, we're for the most part investing in Pakistan for Pakistan. You know, in the past, you have a lot of SaaS companies that have done very well, and you're investing in Pakistan, but they're all selling to the US or selling to somewhere else. We're not interested in that. We're interested in backing entrepreneurs. Well, we can do that, but our main focus so far to date is investing in Pakistan for Pakistan. And so they're basically two types of services, right? There's services that are sticky, like media. I'm very interested in this area. We're the #2 most active investor in media in the world. But media doesn't really make money. That's a problem with it. So then we invest in things that make money, and that's e-commerce, financial services, right? And then to a lesser extent, education, health, and travel is a little bit under pressure right now, but travel, right? And so we get the users and keep them within the ecosystem with the sticky. And then the sticky apps and services then cross-promote the ones that make money. And then they rev share back, and it's lifetime revenue share. So everybody wins. We're interested in things that are super sticky, and we're interested in things that make money. It's pretty simple. Now, there's also a third group. So things that are sticky, you might not think of as a mom and pop shop as sticky, but a mom and pop shop and these small local agents and community people, they have trust, just like a telco or just like a handset brand. They have trust within their local community. And so we also are basically partnering with these mom and pop shops, helping these mom and pop shops make a lot more money. And in return, they will open up their consumers to our ecosystem. And so our goal, our hope is that these mom and pop shops can start making money while they sleep, right? Of course, they work during the day and they're selling physical goods, but they'll also have a network of their customers purchasing digital goods round the clock, and they'll get a cut of that, right? We're partnering with the restaurants, we're partnering with the mom and pop shops, the small stores, things like that. And they are, again, another ally. Because you don't want what happened in China to happen in Pakistan, where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 massive internet conglomerates basically eating up the world, and everybody just works for them.
Since you mentioned financial services, I'm going to take advantage of this conversation here. Somebody actually reached out to me, somebody who's working in the fintech space and looking to raise funds. So after the conversation, I might message you with their
of course.
details. Maybe you might be interested, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the names over here. William, when you have been investing in Pakistan, SOSV has been active in Pakistan. What sort of bottlenecks do you think still exist and they need to be resolved?
The challenge is that I've basically spent the last 25 years doing tech investment, but I've done it in new markets. So, and they're mobile first, mobile only markets, right? And so there's a leapfrog effect. I mean, I did invest in the U.S. For 5 years, but so I kind of understand the U.S. But when you're in kind of a new market, you can sort of leapfrog. Now, there's always going to be challenges. The only thing that is never changes is that there are going to be challenges. Right. So challenges are sort of like an everyday occurrence. We sometimes we talk about cockroach entrepreneurs. You get stepped on, you get whacked, you might lose a leg or two, but you kind of keep on going. And so that's a fact of life. And it actually makes it, I wouldn't say easier because it's not easy, but the entrepreneurs that have the grit in order to push their way through all these challenges are the ones that are going to be successful. And our role is to give them some infrastructure and some help and some advice and tools. And actually, a lot of times it's even mental support to push through, right? So during COVID, there's some really tough times where everybody's, living in the office, you seal the office, the supplies come in and the supplies go out, but nobody ever leaves. And then you're in there for months at a time. But that's the challenge. That's just sort of what it takes. So I would say that, there could always be better regulation. There could always be better government support. There could always be better roads. There could always be better this and that. I would look at it as each of these challenges is actually an opportunity. Once you figure it out, it'll seem a lot easier. From the outside looking in, yeah, sure, it looks like very difficult. But once you're on the ground and fighting, all that flows away, right?
Now, I know that you have to jet off to another meeting, so I'll.
I got it 5 or 10 minutes, no problem. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so well, you said fintech was one space, all right? What other areas are you especially looking into right now in Pakistan?
Yeah. So it might sound well. So generally, e-commerce and fintech are the first two. We also do look at health and education. We gave an offer to an education company. They turned it down. That does happen. But education, travel, we're actually also interested in travel. And then anything that's sticky, like anything that local users love. So it can be video, content, anything that community apps. We even are fine with investing in social apps, right? There's not a lot of VCs investing in them, but if you've got a community that's vibrant where people are coming back and engaging, we'd love to invest in that because we can give more users. We can, help drive their users up. We can also give them a monetization model because they can cross promote the other services and get that lifetime revenue share back. Now we do invest in enterprise. We are partnered lightly with 230 multinationals, global multinationals, but with the Asian branches usually. And we're running $20,000 paid pilots and POCs for our startups, bringing technology into these multinationals, with 42 of the multinationals and 27 multinationals invested in our fund. So on the enterprise side, we are looking as well at SaaS. But it's not usually like maybe, SaaS for US, it's probably more SaaS for Asia. A lot of the solutions that are born out of, Pakistani needs might not actually solve a problem for Americans, but they can solve a problem for people in Bangladesh or Indonesia or Malaysia, or even multinationals who are fighting for their life in China against very strong local competition. And on the enterprise side, what our sort of unfair advantage is these long-term relationships with these corporates, Unilever, J&J, AB InBev, Nestle, and the number 2 FMCG in the world, where we've been running supply chain logistics innovation for them for 4 years, research for 2 years. It's under NDA, but I can't talk about it, but they're number 2. And so our ability to open up those doors. So if you've got a B2B or enterprise company that where you want to go after multinationals and you solve problems like in emerging Asia, we can help sell across Asia. Yeah.
Okay. So, in the end, William, you know that Pakistan, from the government front, is actually doing quite a bit to promote the startup ecosystem. Pakistan has broken all records set during the past 5 years. The ecosystem is being promoted through Dubai Expo 2020 as well. There was a recent conference in Turkey too. What do you think? Where do you think Pakistan stands among in the regional dynamics, right? And what do you think, as a last comment, what do you think needs the ecosystem players need to take those particular steps to go big in the game?
Yeah, I think a lot of people always focus on fundraising, but that's actually not really what you need. A lot of our companies are scaling very, very, very rapidly without money, right? So money does help, but raising big rounds when you've got negative unit economics, basically you're just taking a giant pile of money outside and lighting it on fire every day, right? I mean, I used to run China investments for SoftBank, right, in China and Southeast Asia. But this is like the old SoftBank, where we were only $100 million fund, half from Cisco and half from SoftBank. But the vision model is using money as a weapon. And I think that you're going to start seeing companies using money as a weapon. But for us, we're using trust as a weapon, and we're working with our companies to be help them be very, very, very efficient. You know, world-class systems, world-class processes, world-class tools, approaches. Taking a lot of the lessons that we learned fighting in China and bringing it over and doing knowledge transfer to the entrepreneurs. So it's interesting. You know, one of our startups actually was giving investment fundraising lessons to an accelerator batch. So that was really awesome to see. So we helped them understand how to raise money, and now they're spreading the word to the local ecosystem. So money does help, but you know, it's not really. You don't really want to raise a ton of money until when you spend $1, you get more than $1 back. So we'll see what's happening. I think there's a lot of big checks coming in, but they're just lighting the money on fire in the street.
So, since you're talking of big checks, I have to squeeze in another question here. Do you think the startups in Pakistan, are they overvalued right now?
I don't have a lot of the internal metrics for the companies that are not my portfolio. But in terms of the valuations that we're looking at for our portfolio companies, no, I do not think that they're overvalued. I mean, I'm the number 5, or we're the number 5 most active VC in Asia, rest of world. We're number 3 in the US last year. We're number 10 in Europe. We have a pretty good sense about where valuations are. And what I don't think people understand so well is that the growth valuation is based on, you know, your numbers, which is a point in time. But the second variable is the growth. And when you put those two things together, the valuations that you're seeing in Pakistan, based on the actual amount of money that a lot of these companies has been spending, or at least our companies are spending, which is very, very little, massive growth, rapidly growing numbers. So you know, to some extent, the market, at least for our companies, I think it's properly valued. And then you just wait 3 more months and the valuation goes down, because these companies are growing like 20-30% every month on no capital. So that's not something that you're seeing in many other markets. You know, we're seeing it right now. We're seeing it in, actually, we're seeing it in India. We're seeing it in Pakistan. We're seeing it in Sub-Saharan Africa, areas that we're expanding in for our MOX ecosystem model with the cross promotion. But you know, you're not seeing that type of growth in, say, the US or Europe or other markets like that. There is a discount that people give to kind of like emerging markets, but I think that's more than offset offset by the growth and, at least till now, the capital efficiency of these entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not spending very much money and getting very good results.
Yeah.
It's what happens to being starved from capital for the last however many years, right?
Some say that it's only a FOMO effect that we are seeing so much capital inflowing, but even if it is FOMO, right, it's still good for the ecosystem at least.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty good at PR. So usually what happens is we go in and then we start screaming from the rooftops, you should come here, you check out these numbers. And then people start showing up, and then we get a nice step up. So there you go. Yeah.
Anyways, thank you very much. It was great talking to you, William. Hopefully we can do it again sometime, right? I don't know if you visit Pakistan often or not, but if you do next time, we have to catch up and sit and do a live conversation then.
Yeah, I'd love to. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.